I think I found out why this tire is wearing on the inside. Check out these tie rods. That's really bad. Wow. They're extremely loose. Another thing I did was I removed these reflectors. I mean, the holes in the tailgate aren't too bad, but you still notice them. They literally just had duct tape here. I already peeled the words out that one, but as you can see, they literally just cut the word limo, or the letters for the word limo, out of reflective tape and just taped it on there. They kind of broke off when I took them off, but you know. Now I just gotta get a heat gun and some little adhesive remover and just take the rest of this stuff off. Ultimately, though, probably gonna look for a new tailgate. Gonna remove this logo here and these stickers that were under the reflectors on either side. Basically, the heat gun seems to be working great. I'm just heating everything up. It looks like this outer trim is gonna come off first, and then it's just a sticker. And peel it off a little bit by bit. We're running into a little bit of an issue here. You can see the blue paint, which is the original color of this tailgate, underneath this, and this is some kind of sticky material. I don't know if this was just a giant piece of adhesive for a huge Ford logo or something, but this adhesive is on here so strong, it's literally pulling the paint off with it, and not just the white paint, but even the blue paint as well. I'm down to the bare metal here, as you can see in this area. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll just leave it like that for now, but man, that still looks really goofy. But you know, then if I try to take it off, I'm pulling the paint off as well. I'm not sure what to do with this. The tailgate's kind of ruined anyways, so it's either going to have to be painted and fixed, or I'm just going to have to find another one. So I'll probably just keep working on taking it all off. These spots here on either side are just duct tape, so this should come right off with some Acrysolve and a plastic razor blade. We'll see what we can do here. Well, it's definitely not perfect, but I think that's a lot better. I went ahead and decided, you know what, the heck with it. The tailgate needs a lot of work anyway, so I went ahead and just removed that entire logo from there. And as you can see, it took the paint with it. It took even the blue paint below it as well. That stuff was really on there. But, you know, I don't know. Well, what do you guys think? Did I make it worse? Or does it at least look a little bit better than that than that faded, silly-looking, bedazzled Ford logo? I think it looks a little better. You know, I can maybe just cover it up with something, put like a white magnet over it. I don't know. I think this looks a little bit better than it did before. You can obviously tell there's still something on the sides, but not too much. I'm gonna go ahead and change the oil while I'm at it here. Take a look at this filter though. Man, I mean, it's a good filter. It's a Wix filter, but wow, that thing looks like it's been on there for a while. But look at this oil. It's like diesel oil. The auxiliary filter location, whatever it is, it's like a cooler or something. Anyway, it's in a weird spot. Like, guess I just ran out of room in here, so they ran it up front here. I got a really cheap filter that I'm gonna put on it, and then maybe run a mix of like some transmission fluid and regular oil in it just to kind of clean it out. And then I'm gonna get rid of this filter, drain the oil again, put a Motorcraft filter on it and fill it back up with oil just to kind of try to clean everything out of there, because that's pretty nasty. While we've got the oil draining there, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the wheel bearings. It needs both wheel bearings. They're both loose. But as I got to looking at this closer, I realized it's actually a really good thing that I'm replacing this whole wheel bearing hub assembly. And it comes with new studs, because if you look at these studs here, look at these really carefully. Look how they're stretching. Look at that. The studs are literally stretching and, I mean, basically about to break. Those have been weakened. These two in particular right here have really been weakened. And when you look how thin these are, you compare how thin these studs are, and there's only 5 of them, compared to the next generation F150, it's a huge difference. I mean, it's crazy how light duty this is. I mean, this is like Ranger stuff. I had a 95 Ranger that had what I would guess to be thicker lug studs than this. I mean, this is crazy. Look how they're just stretching there. That's scary to think that these are rolling around with those studs like that. I think there was even a recall for this, but man, even if they were recalled, they still don't look like they're that strong. It's a good thing I brought my big 3/4 inch with a 1/2 inch adapter, by the way, because that thing is not budging this axle nut. So let's see what the big 3/4 inch air does, shall we? Oh yeah, it comes right off. Now you're going to want to use genuine Kia transmission fluid when you go to clean out a 5.4. Well, this is a huge difference. I mean, it's crazy to think that this thing was actually driving down the road as someone's daily driver. Both front wheel bearings were loose and howling. I mean, you can hear how dry those bearings sound. Here's the other one. Same kind of thing. All the boots and everything were torn on all the inner and outer tie rods. They were all loose. Every single one of these was loose. Here's the lower ball joint. It's also loose. Both lower ball joints loose. Bushings all torn. And even while I was doing the work, a brake line here had just gotten so rusty that it came apart. So fortunately, I was able to run to the parts store and get that. But it's just crazy to think that somebody was just driving this every day as a daily driver with the front suspension about to fall apart. I got the new brake line here. New brake line. We got new tie rods, inner and outer. I'm going to tighten these up once I just kind of eyeball the toe. We got new ball joints. These control arms were fairly new. They were tight, so I didn't bother replacing those, and new wheel bearings. So what I'm going to do now is I've got the steering wheel locked in place there with the seat belt in the straight position, and I'm just going to eyeball the toe for now. I'll have it aligned later. You know we're going to make a video of that when we take this to an alignment shop. We got the jam nuts tightened up on the tie rods there. We're just kind of eyeballing it, getting as straight as we can. Here's the other side. It's tightened up, ready to go. So, see how this does. Steering wheel still straight. No more squeaking. Nice. Perfect. Oh, look at that. Nice and straight. You don't need an alignment rack. Nice. Go fill her up a little bit at the old QT here. Exhaust leak and everything. Yeah. Dropped down to $1.82. Didn't even have time for the sign to change out there. It says $1.90. I don't know if you can see it or not. Man, is this thing ever sweet. I just love how the bed was done so well that you can't tell where it starts and stops. That's awesome. Right about there. Look at that. Even. Oh, fuel gauge works well. Didn't take much to fill this thing up. Well, now that I actually feel safe driving this thing, let's get it up to some highway speeds. See how it runs. I can already tell that the back end is a lot more stiff than a normal F-150 would be, and you know, it's undoubtedly because of those back axles. But this thing runs great. It's quiet. Of course, now that we got those front wheel bearings replaced, it's quiet. It tracks straight. It doesn't pull to one side or the other. You can hear a little bit of like a howling noise from a cupped tire, but I mean, there's 60 miles an hour right there. And it's smooth. Oh, this is great. She's just cruising right along. I do have to kind of turn the wheel just a little bit to the left to keep it centered, but you know, that could just be road crown for all we know. See if the cruise control works. Oh, yeah, the cruise control works. Sweet. Oh, that's something I can't say about my motorhome. Wow, this thing runs great.